I will say that, I mean, despite the fact that I do think that women should have the right to have an abortion when they want to have an abortion, I also think that the pill has been one of the worst inventions
Mm.
ever for women.
Alex Jones is not entirely wrong.
I mean, it's horrible health-wise, like, physically,
Yeah.
it's really bad for women, but socially, I mean, there's a reason why Hugh Hefner loved the pill.
Right. Right. I mean, it's the foundation for all the commodification of women's bodies which has come since, because it's the keystone of privatizing sexuality. Because you can realistically make the case, underwritten by a technology such as the pill that interrupts normal fertility, that sex is nobody's business apart from your own. Whereas previously that just wasn't the case. Everybody around you really did have skin in the game about what you were doing and with who. If you were female, because there was a real material pregnancy risk. And then the pill comes along, and suddenly it's possible for women to have for sex to be treated as a kind of leisure activity, because that normal condition of fertility has been interrupted. And once it's privatized, it can be commercialized. The two follow hand in hand, absolutely without fail. Wherever something, the moment something is private property, it can be leveraged as a resource for profit. So in the moment sex becomes nobody's business but your own, you have a libertarian defense of the sex industry, you have a libertarian defense of the porn industry, and all the horrors that radical feminists will rightly denounce. The exploitation and the brutalization and the degradation that follows from that. Yeah, the flip side of freedom is always trade. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it sells a lie about women, because women don't enjoy casual sex as much as men do. Women don't want to be like men. No matter what some women will say, it's simply not true. And I'm not saying women never enjoy casual sex. I mean, I've had casual sex. I know that it can be fun, but I also know that there are way different implications for women in terms of having casual sex. And I think for the most part, women do get more emotionally attached than men do. And there's evolutionary reasons for that.
Right. I mean, my good friend Louise Perry is excellent on this, and on the ways in which at scale the sexual revolution has been a disaster for women. She points out that the studies suggest that for women for men, a casual sexual encounter, they're most likely to have an orgasm. For women, the likelihood is 10%. Compared to considerably higher, something like 60% in a robust relationship, in a committed relationship. And you just think, so this is a technology which facilitates the commodification of women's bodies in pornography and prostitution, and furthermore, it opens up. It makes it very much more difficult to say no to sexual encounters with a 10% chance of orgasm, and it's psychoactive, and it makes you fat and mad and sexless. I mean, I speak from personal experience here, right? Yeah. I took the pill for a little while in my late teens and early 20s, and after I came off it, I was like, I never want to do that again.
Yep.
That made me nuts. That made me completely insane.
Oh, that made me crazy. Because and I went off of it, when I was like quite young, in my early 20s, and then at some point my doctor pressured me to go back onto the pill, because I'd had a miscarriage, and he essentially was like, well, clearly you're too irresponsible and there's no other option. And I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like how it makes me feel. He's like, well, try this one, it'll be different. It wasn't any different. It was terrible, but it made me feel crazy. Like it makes you insane. I was able to tell the difference. It makes you bloated, it makes you put on weight, it makes you crazy, it makes you have no libido. It's completely irrational.
It's horrendous. And I think there are, one of the most interesting phenomena recently is the growing number of young women who are pushing back against the pill. Having been put on it, sort of, I gather from women much younger than me that it's pretty routine now. They just stick girls on the pill at about the age of 15, just as a matter of course. And then some of these young women will get to their 20s and they'll come off the pill and just be like, what did you do to me? You bastards. What did you do to me? Because they've just had a complete personality transplant. And just discovered actually who they are, having been on this incredibly psychoactive substance, just so that nobody would have to, so they could so they could be sexually exploited throughout their cutest years without any negative consequences. And they're like, bastards.
And not learn anything about their sexualities in the meantime. First of all, because they're young and they don't really know, but second of all, because their libidos have been messed up.
Right. And
and they're having casual sex, which is not likely to give them sexual pleasure anyway.